So, quick breakdown. Make sure we are on the same step, and then we jump right in. So, last time we started just as you all, the 5 of you, had finished up your dealings with Adrian, the warden of Sanctuary, handing over a small, pretty terribly fashioned, quote-unquote kind of map, and warning you all to not bother with the ruins of the small village below. After that, though, the conversation was kind of settled as is, and Adrian told that he would, send somebody to, show you to a place to rest for the evening in time. And so, for the 5 of you, not wanting to get right into the task at hand, you decided to follow along as Dorina searched out the winemaker Luciana. As easy as following your nose, you arrived at the small bar. After some conversation, Luciana offered drinks for all. At least the first one being free, since you were new to Sanctuary. Beyond that, though, other than some shenanigans and the offer to join along and potentially leave the Red Vivarium, the conversation was pleasant, and Dorina and Luciana were able to make a trade, each with their respective wines. As you said your goodbyes, you were approached by a young member of Sanctuary who led you to a small, unnamed tavern and inn where you'd be allowed to sleep and make yourselves comfortable on the house, as Adrian had settled it for you. And so you did, maybe spending some time to eat, rest, relax, the twins sharing a room while the rest of you taking advantage of the privacy that each room offered to you. While the evening passed, the twins had a conversation amongst themselves before their old friend Hoot joined to also share some words together. During this, it was revealed that Chester had an affliction of sorts. The topic of what you were looking for within this location, within this quest, was brought up, and who would get the treasured item that it seemed both the twins and Dorina might be on the lookout for. As the night came to a close, though, you all awoke the following day, having what bit of food that was available to you that you could acquire for breakfast, and then decided to get an early start on the path forward. As you exited, you ran across the guide Valeria on your way out, who questioned what you might be doing and up to, seemingly a bit upset at hearing the news and the task that was given to the 5 of you. Although, not entirely sure why, right? Never really revealed. In any case, though, you press forward out of Sanctuary and back into the Red Vivarium. After a bit of confusion in which it seemed your guide Hoot had lost his head regarding what path to take and where to go, it would seem that Mac was the one to be the guide this time, taking the compass, checking the map, and taking lead. Hoot, this is a bit of a retcon, but something I want to tell you before we start. Confusion such as this was a bit strange to you. Having had quite a bit of experience in traveling through the wilderness and navigating forests all around, having something, a compass directly, right, really helped. And it would seem that maybe something was affecting your mind in these woods. Something about the forest seemed to have an odd effect on your ability to navigate. And so, with Mac having figured the path forward, the 5 of you pressed onwards back into the red. So, this is where we pick up. Let me get some music going, and we shall. Okay. So, the location that you're on the yeah, that's almost exactly how the map looks, by the way.
I drew it last week, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's
post it.
That's perfect. The location.
That's a quality map.
yeah, it's very good. The location that you're looking for is nestled kind of deep within the heart of the Red Vivarium, where the necromancer Corbiano conducted some of his most kind of sinister and macabre experiments. At least from description, that it was once a place of kind of great beauty and reverence. And so, as you searched out once you get a certain distance away from Sanctuary, that it feels as though even the air around you feels heavier. The forest doesn't seem as vibrant. It's still red, right? But it doesn't seem to have that like same kind of red vibrance. It's almost like there's like a dulled effect, right? This kind of gray, almost like a drained effect to the surroundings. As you press onward, you have the compass, you have the map, right? Beyond the cartoonish cliff and where to go, yes, where not to go, right? There is a bit of a kind of like a drawn path forward. So getting to the location where you're headed to, and it's not very far from the borders of Sanctuary, is not going to be the difficult part here, right? So, as you kind of journey forward, it feels like, at least, that the journey is, well, not immediately kind of dangerous or foreboding. There is this kind of sense of how to say this. It's almost like as you travel further, it's almost like the forest itself is kind of seeking to deter you from uncovering this location, right? There is the basic red tree and the red kind of carpet of leaves and moss that kind of live in this area, but every now and then one of these ancient trees is kind of gnarled, right? Kind of looming overhead, the branches kind of reaching out like kind of skeletal arms, right? Like looking to grab onto somebody. And they stand out because the other trees are just kind of full of life, right? Full of leaves, like, and these seem like they're, like something has kind of taken the life out of them. They still stand tall, but, the ground beneath, as the five of you travel, is kind of like an uneven, kind of like a carpet of crimson leaves and moss. Occasionally, there's the deep roots that kind of snake across the forest floor that will catch you up, right? Grab at your ankles and feet, cause you to occasionally trip over yourselves. Thankfully, not enough to break anything or to disrupt your travel, but it just seems as you get closer and closer moving forward that there's an energy or an aura left behind that is not welcoming. So as you push onward, Mac, you're at the front. Who's closest to Mac? Would it be Chester or would it be...
Yeah, what do you think?
Fair enough. Okay, so it's Chester and Mac up front, and then we'll say just like Nick, Studina, and Hoot kind of sprinkled in behind. So Mac, you've got the lead. I do need you to make me a check here, but it's not going to determine like if you're lost or anything along those lines. But if you could give me a perception check, I guess Chester here as well, since the two of you are
That's
in the
still
lead.
not very reassuring.
Just don't roll a 1, that's all.
Oh, I thought that was a 1, but it's a 7.
Yeah.
Oh
I
shit.
would have screamed.
Yeah. You both rolled
Seven.
7s?
We both rolled 7.
You both rolled
See?
7s? Jesus Christ.
It's that twin telepathy thing.
What the fuck is happening? Okay. So, yeah. Mac, you're solely focused on making sure you're not going the wrong way. You don't want to look a fool the way Hoot did earlier, right? Directly leading you into the absolute worst wrong direction to go, right? So you're very focused on this map, right? You've kind of got your head down. You're double checking, triple checking, just to ensure that you just do not go off the path that is set before you. Chester, why do you think you rolled an 11? Like what's happening with Chester as you continue to press forward? What do you think is obscuring Chester's ability to kind of be very aware of their surroundings?
Maybe just like nerves at this point.
Yeah.
We're getting pretty close, and we've had some reveals, and it's not that Chester doesn't trust Dorina or anything like that, but or his brother or anything, but you know, there's some concern there. Like, I don't know how this is gonna go down.
Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, the twins continue to lead the rest of you. The three of you just kind of following behind, taking it, you know, basically at their ability to lead you forward. So as you press onward, you're getting to a point where there's like a mix. The trees are a mix, like almost half are dead, half are alive, right? So that density that the forest previously offered, kind of overhead, is not as safe, as far as sunlight goes. So as you draw closer, I'm gonna say, because you're up front, that the twins are the first to kind of notice the stonework that is kind of rising up through the path ahead. You can see it. Every step you get closer, you see it kind of, you know, reveal itself more and more, and it's this you can tell, at least at first visual sight, that at one point this building was magnificent, right? But as each step draws you closer, you can see more and more parts of it now kind of reduced to ruins. And now it just seems to kind of stand almost as like a haunting silhouette against the sky behind. A sky that at this moment, as you look forward, is oddly gray, as if a light rain is moving into this area. It's not raining yet, but based on the clouds, you know you've got, you know, a handful of minutes before it's overhead and potentially just kind of, you know, drizzling down. So, as the first to see it, I need the two of you to make me a will save.
God.
Okay.
Love that for
Oh,
me.
no.
Mac, you are frightened too. So, just seeing this structure puts like a chill into your entire body, right? You stop walking, like you're holding on to the compass and the map, and you just kind of, you're basically one step above, immediately you're one step above, immediately turning and running as far away as you can get, right? So you're right there as you kind of stand. Maybe even the map and the compass is kind of shaking in your hands, only slightly. But you are kind of frozen in place with fear. One thing though that I want to be sure of is that, Nyx, you have an aura, right?
Yes.
So I think that is that against effects that would cause fear. So then absolutely. So saving throws against fear. Okay. So technically it's still because it's still a natural one on the roll, it's still a critical failure. But Chester and Mac, both of those numbers are one higher, just to, you know. So Chester, you are fear 1, and you are, the way this fear works is that you are feared for the day unless something kind of removes this condition from you. So let me Okay.
Sounds like it's time for a long rest, guys. Let's get through the day.
Let's go ahead and take a
We'll go
break.
back.
Yeah, we'll come back
Go
tomorrow. Yeah, fuck this, we'll come back tomorrow. Fuck. But
It's
okay.
a short walk. We'll be fine.
Taylor will saves again. Oh, let's go back.
So, perfect. All right, and then so let me just drop this. Okay. So the way Frightened works, you take a status penalty equal to the value. So, you know, in the case of Chester, it's 1. In the case of Mac, it's 2. To all your checks and DCs. Right. So, and typically it will decrease by 1, but because of the intense kind of foreboding atmosphere of this place, typically it's like 1 turn or 1 round you would lose the fear, 1 value each round, but in this case the fear lasts for a day. So it grips you too, Chester, although it doesn't seem as strong as the way it has grabbed at Mac. I mean, you know, being twins, I mean, you look over right at your brother and you know, there's a deep sense of fear, whereas for you it's just like, you know, you're just like shaken by the sight of this place, which there's nothing in particular about it that scares you. It's almost like the presence of the place itself. So I'm just gonna reach this point. I'm gonna say Nyx, Hoot, and Dorina, you see, you know, Mac just stop directly in the while walking and just kind of stare off ahead.
Mac would probably also grab like Chester's shirt or something.
Okay.
Like just instinctively, just like, you know how like you just grab for something when you're like afraid.
Yeah. Maybe like
Probably grab for his brother.
yeah, like Chester wasn't scared enough to stop, so Chester maybe took like 1 more step, right? And you were able to, like, you know, almost like protecting your brother from going forward, right? You kind of grab at, you know, also out of fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other 3, you see this happen as the 2 twins just come to kind of an abrupt stop.
No longer fun, jovial pranksters.
Yeah.
I think Hoot would try and move up and be the funny grandpa and be like, I told you we should have gone the other way, and it was that way. This feels like entirely the wrong direction.
You step forward, so you see the place. I mean, we'll save. So you step forward, you close the bit of distance.
Everybody get ready for these.
This joke. And then
+1 circumstantial, right? Because of the
yes, +1
aura?
because of the aura. Another 7 on the roll. Jesus Christ. 15 though.
It's supposed to be lucky 7s. Come on now.
Yeah, three 7s in a row, I believe. Oh no, sorry. 3 7s up until the saving.
Hey, if we're
throws.
counting,
Yeah,
if we're counting our first rolls of the day.
yeah. Sorry.
Now Mitty and Rosie are next. You guys better roll 7s.
So because you weren't warned about what is up ahead, Hoot, you were kind of, you know, you step forward, and it's enough because of the twins having already stopped that it stops you as well. There's like this kind of cold crawling along your spine, right? Kind of just like sets in. I'm gonna say you get the feeling that if you were warned that there was something here, as if like spoken out to you, that maybe the effect wouldn't have been so jarring. You're not frightened though, I should say. Sorry.
I think you'll mention that. That's a good thing they told us about this place, and it just definitely doesn't feel right. Well, he suddenly has flashbacks to his time in Phineas.
Okay. And so I'll say, for Nyx and Dorina, as you kind of close the distance with to the twins and come up, because Hoot is kind of called out, like, you know, to kind of prepare yourself for something a little a little off. I'm gonna say there's not a requirement for will saving throws, but you do get that like chill run down your spine as you see the kind of peak of this location start to crest over the path forward.
Quite the grim sight.
Rather peculiar. I wonder what has caused this.
As the fear has gripped you, you push yourself past it, continue forward.
We've got to.
Got to. All right,
Desperation outweighs anything
Yeah.
else.
fair
I
enough.
think we have to keep moving. Like, this feeling is the same I had when the police was about to, the guards were about to come in. So we definitely got to keep moving. Just pick a direction.
Fair enough. Yeah, you continue to get yourself closer, right? Like you said, you have to. You know, desperation calls for it. And so, as the five of you press forward, pushing past the fear that still kind of holds at you, either way, you close the rest of the distance, and you actually kind of it's almost like the forest itself kind of opens up. There's no more trees, there's no more, you know, anything between you, the edge of the forest that you've kind of now exited from, and this building that now stands kind of in front of you. So to the building, again, kind of for all of you now, right? You can tell that at one point it was kind of magnificent in its own way, but it's now kind of reduced to ruins and locations. You can see the red moss kind of covering the exterior walls, kind of rising all the way from the ground to the very top. And looking across the front of this place, the surface, not only where the moss, there are, the surface of the stone wall, is kind of marred with these arcane kind of symbols and sigils all around. And I'm going to say that these symbols and sigils even keep the moss from growing over them, right? Like there's a very clear, wherever the sigil is, there's a very clear, where it's not grown in. And it's kind of built up along the edges of sorts. You can see directly on, there's a broken archway, and there are a number of windows along the side as well. Many of them shattered in, but a few still stand. They have the what is it? The kind of it's kind of got like the stained glass window effect. Although no actual imagery is upon them. But it does have like various colors to the window, right? Like hexagons of kind of reds and crimsons and clear. So the few though that are broken in kind of give you a bit of insight into the building already before like even entering. You can see past, and you can see there's kind of shadows of old material that's kind of left behind. And yeah, now you stand before the, I guess you never got the name of the place. You now stand before the hospital. And that same kind of sense of foreboding just kind of washes over the five of you, although some of you much more afflicted than others in that regard. As it stands, there's from this direction there seems to be a single walkway in, and again the ceiling to this place is gone right through. So like where you can see this broken archway that at one time would have been the entranceway, like the main entranceway, you can see beyond it. You can see kind of light cascading in. It seems like the entrance would open up into a kind of like a hall of sorts with the paths going either direction. as well as another kind of broken archway that you can see right through, and out into an open courtyard in the center. So,
Well, shall we enter?
Lead the way.
I wonder what was so dangerous if they gave such a warning about it. And if we're standing here for a moment, could I just listen out if there's any sounds of nature or anything or stuff going on?
yeah. Roll me a perception check. I'll say you have to get a little bit closer, but not by much. Just about 10 feet closer or so. The 14, total of 21. Absolutely. So, as you step forward, one thing you notice, visually at least, is that the red trees that kind of surround this forsaken structure almost appear to kind of shy away from the building, right? There's this clearing that isolates this building from the rest of the forest around. And even beyond it, you can see where the cliff ends and breaks down into this, kind of sweeping valley underneath it. As you draw closer, you don't hear anything as far as life goes, but what you do hear, and this is very off-putting, as you take a few steps closer, trying to see if you can hear anything coming from within, you would swear that you hear this like subtle echo of numerous unsettling whispers. It seems to come right from the building itself.
I don't think Hood would mention it as he stepped closer because the map was already screwed with his mind and he's feeling like there's something going on, and now this is even more foreboding in his feeling like, is there something wrong with my head?
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's something creeping in.
Yeah, I would say if you could, just roll me a straight d20 real quick. So I'm not sure that this is particularly like a role-based thing. Yeah, so with the 9, I'm going to say that as you hear the whispers, right, and it's like it's very subtle, but you pick up on it. It's almost like the wind is kind of carrying it to you directly. It's like, wait a few moments. I'm gonna say with a 9, you're not entirely sure if this is actually what you're hearing, or if it's that feeling of uncertainty, right? Uncertainty that you have like over your own, like control over your own mind. You're right on the edge, like you know.
I think with that, he would just look extra like on edge as he stepped closer and looking to seek out the source, and then look back to the party, and then look back out to wherever the wind's coming from, and just being very, very like having that nervous energy of what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And as you kind of like, I'm gonna say maybe you have like a bit of a kind of like sharp turn, sharp like as you look to the building and then back at the party and then, out at the wind, right? Trying to kind of place where you might heard this. Yeah, you it's still present, but you can't quite place exactly where it's coming from. It seems like at least your best intuition can offer you is that it is coming from the very stone of the building, of the ruins, I should say.
We surely want to go in here and not maybe check out that valley or something else.
This is why we're here, I guess. You're not feeling well either. I don't know what to tell you.
Just a certain sense, and like something you build up over time, and it just feel like there's something looming. It just might be my age betraying me, but you know.
Well, I think it shouldn't be necessary to be afraid of a building. They do tend to deteriorate quite a lot over the years.
So, the intention is to head inside. Who
Who's
is
happy
taking
to
lead?
lead them inside?
Nick, yeah, you're gonna step forward next.
Everyone else seems scared.
Absolutely. Okay. So you
Well, I
step.
mean, with that frightened too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jester and Mac, I think, have been very intentionally weirdly quiet. Like,
Yeah.
for the first
sure.
time in your entire adventure, they haven't said a word for like
So
solid
pleasant.
10 minutes.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, you know. Yeah, everything is quiet out
Yes.
this way. So Nick's feeling emboldened because you haven't really had like any. I mean, you had like the chill down the spine, but that's not enough to kind of put Nyx on edge, right? So as you kind of step forward, you don't feel worried about, you know, heading on into this location. What about you, Dorina? Is it the same for you?
I suppose she's thinking to herself, oh, this is just like Yurok, you know? In one way or another.
Yeah. A lot of this seems very similar.
Oh, God. Perhaps she would even point that out, you know? Just very casually. Well, this kind of reminds me of Yurok a while ago. But without any discernible emotion.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Nyx taking lead now. Hoot is a bit forward than the others. Would it just be Nyx taking lead, or is somebody wanting to shoulder to shoulder as you make your way in? Because I assume that Mac and Cheese are going to be following following behind, but with
Yeah,
a bit of
stand last.
a bit of space. Yeah.
Yeah, we need our meat shields.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll say because of the nature of how things have been, that Nyx and Dorina probably take kind of lead a bit here, because everybody else seems to be very put off by this location so far. So there are some kind of crumpled, broken stone steps that lead up into this this building. As I said before, the broken archway. It's you can see the pillars on either side kind of crumpled down as well. It's the top part of the archway is just completely kind of mangled and destroyed. So it's like this almost like pseudo entrance. Whatever doors used to be here at whatever time are long gone. Right, this place is just completely open to the elements of the elements. So as you make you climb the steps, Nyx, and step through the archway.
Yeah, we have ran into traps and stuff in the past on this island, so being a little bit cautious of walking into things.
All right.
But, yeah.
I'll say then, roll me a is it detect trap action? Detect trap. Like if you're on guard and you're trying to make sure that you don't run across a trap. I'm pretty sure that.
What the action's called?
Let's see. So
Maybe
then
it just ends up being a perception check.
It
Damn.
just ends up being perception, but
Okay. Yeah, so I guess if it's just perception, since you don't have, I assume there's no bonus to it, then, okay, absolutely. Roll me a perception check. Yeah, all good. So, you walk right in, and
yep.
yeah, you step right through the archway, completely unnoticing the runes underneath your feet. Having been a bit of that moss has kind of grown over this patch of entranceway, and you step right forward. I need you to make me a fortitude saving throw here. And because I'm gonna say everybody's walking far enough behind that nobody else gets caught up in this. You do make the fortitude saving throw, but you will take half of this. So, and I'll describe what happens. So you take half of 9. I assume that's well, actually, I'll do it right here. Half. 4 damage. So, what happens is you step across the, step into the building and pass the archway. There's almost an immediate drop of temperature, and it racks your skin and almost like your spirit itself. The temperature drops rapidly in a brief bit of moment, to the point that you can see your breath, like the fog, hanging heavily in the air, and it just immediately plummets, and that immediate plummet effect kind of pulls at your skin, at the sweat that was left along it, right? Kind of freezing it down to your skin, and you are racked with 4 points of cold damage. Which if you have like I don't think you do, but if you had,
No.
yeah. So, so you take we'll say it's 4 points, just enough as like the ice on your skin, from the sweat will immediately freeze, and it freezes so quickly that it actually leaves cuts along your skin. There's like small little cuts all along your arms and kind of like your face, that bleed, but like just just a line of red. So that goes off as you enter in.
Point it out to everyone as I'm kind of walking through. It's quite nippy in here.
So
Twins don't laugh.
yeah. For the rest of you, as you walk in, you feel the cold in the air, but it doesn't have that immediate effect. Like, it doesn't hurt you, right? There's a chill now left inside this, in this area that you stand in. So where you stand is basically almost like a crossroads. Behind you is the steps to just get the fuck out of here. To the left and right, there are long hallways, the walls of which in many places are just kind of completely destroyed out. So there's plenty of light, but they just seem kind of dusty and overgrown, kind of retaken by some of the natural surrounding. And then directly ahead of you, there's another large kind of almost like a larger archway as far as like the width of it goes, and it leads out into this large kind of square, basically like an overgrown kind of garden, or I guess you would call it a garden, right? You can see where there used to be a stone path that would cut across it from one side to the opposite side, where there's another big archway that leads further into this building. But yeah, a lot of this is overgrown, but you can see small stone, kind of like garden beds where things used to be laid out, and in the center of which there is a fountain that is now completely wrecked. But there are some kind of carvings in the fountain, making up. You just can't. You have to get close to kind of judge them. But also, yeah, the water left within is just kind of murky and green, and yeah.
I am happy to walk up to them. I'll kind of point it out to the others that may be smarter than me, if they know what the markings mean.
Oh, along the ground where you walked over, or on the fountain?
Yeah, and on the fountain. And
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wants to approach and take a look.
I would love to at least check if it is in Elven or Necril, I believe it's called.
Okay. What I meant by carvings along the, I just meant like like visual carvings, right? Like if you get close to the,
okay, sorry.
yeah, it's not like a sigils or like an alphabet of any sort. But I'll say as you get kind of close to the fountain, yeah, in its time, if it were cleaned off, maybe it would appear much more impressive than it is. Yeah, there seems to be almost like a story told within the fountain itself. It's like the small kind of little carvings that, on each kind of pedestal up the fountain, where water kind of collects on each tier. Yeah, it's like a story of, you know, what it looks like is like somebody arriving ill, and then being restored to proper health. And it's very elvish.
That's a good sign, maybe.
Yeah. So there's a hospital, is not.
So, are all of you now standing in the garden, or if some stayed up closer? Okay.
I think
All right. So yeah, so the five of you now kind of stand about halfway across the garden, the stone path kind of underneath, and yeah, the opposite side. Around you there are glass pane windows. Many of them busted out, but a few of them still kind of standing that look out into the halls. Basically what it seems like is this place is like a large square, and the halls seem to kind of go around, with the center being like a garden with two archway entrances, one on opposite side. So it seems like the building seems to continue further on up ahead. It doesn't seem, at least based on how it looked on the outside, that there are kind of any rooms or sort along the halls that that basically outline this this garden. So you're heading forward. I need marching orders. Who is taking lead? Who is
Nyx is still happy to take the lead.
okay. All right.
Spear out.
Fair enough.
I think Mac behind Chester.
Mac
Yeah,
behind.
I feel like Mac and Chester are probably at the back of the group.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. Perfect. So, as you continue your path up ahead, you're now kind of opening into the more. There are a number of locations where doors used to be at times that kind of open to a number of rooms. So, I think the best way to kind of play this out would be for everybody to make perception checks, as I guess there is a bit of investigation at play here, right? I'm trying to, you know, you're keeping an eye out for what you're looking for particularly, as well as other things. So, okay, nice. So, yeah, Nick's up front, 24, not a problem for you. You step forward, the five of you all kind of step forward, each of you, except for the twins, basically kind of nosing around, right, to kid an eye for, you know, what you're looking for. I'm going to assume that all of you are readied in a form, right? You have your weapons or something along those lines. You're readied for a sudden kind of reveal. So, as you kind of step forward, moving around, Nick's leading the way. You come across a door, and as you kind of peek inside, you can see within the room there are a number of brown spots gripping onto the walls. And as you look inside, there is a almost like a shelf, and you can see a number of vials from the very bottom all the way to the top. all kind of scattered around. Many of them don't look to be in the best states because they've been exposed, obviously, to the elements that's around. But this seems like, at least at first glance, looking around, that this would have been in its time some sort of like alchemist lab, or yeah, some sort of alchemist lab, or like workroom of sorts. I'm gonna say you're still standing at the door, so you're not having gone in just yet.
Yeah, Nyx is probably gonna walk in, kind of take a look around, make sure there's nothing that's gonna really jump out.
Fair enough.
And kind of turn to the others and say, "Do you know what to make of all of this? We're here for you guys."
So, Chester and
Chester
Mac
would probably step forward to start investigating.
Yeah, as you do that, because the two of you are feared, as you step forward, two of you hear the unsettling echo, almost from all around you. Everywhere you look, it seems like there's just this echo, almost like a symphony of these whispers, right? Each kind of layering over each other, reaching out to you. I'm gonna say, Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask if we understand the language that's being spoken.
No, so because you're not hearing, like, the way the whispers are coming through, it's very weird, because it's not there's not specific words that you can kind of grasp out of it, because there's so many kind of layered voices as they all kind of whisper out at you. It's just like a sense, it's almost like a wave of just this this unsettling kind of echo. I'm gonna say, Hoot, ever since you stepped into the building, that echo that you heard on the outside is gone, right? The whispers that you heard on the outside is gone. So I'm gonna say, like, Chester, you hear Nyx kind of asking, what can you make of this? And you kind of go step to take a look, and as you kind of take a step closer, that's when the whispering starts to grasp at you.
Great.
Great.
I'm just gonna ignore that.
Fair enough. Yeah. Push it out of mind and step forward into the room that Nyx has spotted out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Absolutely. You make your way in. As you step inside this particular room, beyond the alchemical kind of equipment, the many vials and such, looking around, you see a number of broken vials and kind of shattered equipment that seems to suggest that this room, whatever it might have been, has either just had something come in and kind of search through it, or potentially that it was left abandoned at a fast pace, right? Just destroy everything and get out. But a number of vials still stand along the shelf, unbothered.
I'm gonna cast Detect Magic.
Detect Magic?
Yep.
Absolutely. So
within range of things that I suspect.
Yeah, within range. Perceive no information beyond the presence or absence of magic. You can choose to ignore magic you're fully aware of. Magic item. Detect illusion magic only if that magic's effect is lower level than the level you detect magic, which is a cantrip, so it has to be lower. Okay. So yeah, as you kind of pulse out this detect magic, you do get magic back. You get necromantic magic, but you also get what is yes, you get necromantic, and what is the what is the word for divine magic? I guess divine magic.
Nation.
Is it divination? I thought that was like to see thing.
I think it's the type as well.
Yeah. Okay. Then divination.
Great. Well, I'll take some of these vials that are intact. And
Okay.
pocket them.
Yeah. So without checking, like without trying to take too much time and study what they are, you just kind of take a number of them and just kind of pack them down.
Yeah, I can
and
look at them later.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you head right in. You look at a number of them, and you just kind of, pocket the ones that seem to have like a continued.
Yeah.
Yeah, a continued like or it looks like they've been like the ones less corrupted, I guess, by nature and what's around it. Perfect. So, Mac, how did you react hearing these whispers? Seems Chester didn't seem bothered by them, or at least push right past it to continue doing what they're doing. But you're still kind of standing out in the hallway while Nyx and Chester are in the room.
Yeah, he's like significantly more scared than anybody. He's definitely going to be like looking around to see if he spots anything, even though the echoes are kind of, you said, like just coming from like the walls and stuff, essentially.
Yeah, like everywhere.
Yeah, but he's definitely looking behind them just to make sure that there's nothing coming from behind them.
Fair enough. All right. So, Dorina. While the others have kind of searched one half of this little area, you've checked into another room, right? Kind of peeked your head in. And what you see beyond the entrance is there's a circular chamber. And what is very apparent to you is that it is adorned with intricate kind of magical runes along the floors and walls. In the center of the room, there stands this kind of central pedestal. And you can see an object sitting atop the pedestal. It looks like a kind of a teardrop shaped, almost like a green emerald. And as it pulses, you can see it light and kind of give off this magical effect, and you can kind of hear it on the hairs on like the back of your neck or something, right? Kind of like perk up.
I would slowly start approaching it, and I would really ask myself if this is like anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah, you can make me an arcane check or an occultism check here.
Okie dokie. Oh.
Nothing you've ever seen before.
I think in that case I would, with a muffled voice, call out for the party to come over and check it out.
Okay.
I'm going to step closer, but I'm not going to start touching anything.
Okay. With each step as you've taken to get closer to this object, it's felt like there's more kind of pressure, right? You feel it like the first kind of wave that kind of pulsed off of this item was just kind of like a light touch on the skin. But as you've taken a couple of steps forward, I mean, you feel it almost like it's pushing you back, right? Like not not violently, but you feel like the like a similar effect of like a gust of wind, right? Kind of pushing back at your body as you step forward. In that case, Dorina calls out for the rest. Does everybody kind of maneuver their way
of
over?
course.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, what's just what you're up to say?
All right, perfect. So you all step forward and standing at the entrance of this circular chamber. All of you feel it, like that effect kind of washing over your skin.
It's rather curious, isn't it? I do wonder what it does.
It's very central and on display when we compare it to the other things. It doesn't seem as just tarnished and bit out in the open, and for it to be so quiet. Anyone who would have made their way through here, be it that they left in a hurry or would have looted it before, well, I guess would have come across it. But maybe they were just not strong enough to come closer.
Very true. Most of us didn't want to come in here.
Yeah, true.
It does appear rather repulsed by our presence.
So as you stand there, doing that, and I'll even say, the pulse that's coming off of it, lifts your hair, right? Like kind of pushes it back, like there's a breeze kind of hitting you, each time. So the effects of it are visible as well as kind of like physically felt. But you're the closest. While the others kind of hang near the door, you are kind of in the room. You're, maybe, 3 steps away from it as it sits on that pedestal. As you look at it, it definitely is apart from everything else in this so far that you've seen. Everything seems tarnished and aged and almost in a state of ruin. This like teardrop emerald gem looks pristine. Right? Nothing about it it doesn't even have dust on it, right? It is completely clean, almost as if it has been shined.
I mean, if Dorina's not going to do anything, Chester may as well go up and touch it.
Okay.
Are you quite sure you want to lay your hands on that? She would just like politely intervene.
Now, what would you suggest we do?
I would take it with us without touching it and then ask somebody who might know more before risking life and limb. Perhaps if you have a sack, you could just hold it under it. And she would like make a movement to attempt and pick it up, to lift it slowly with prestidigitation, so somebody could like hold something under it.
Okay.
Unless this
Yes,
thing
you'll-
is like really
yeah.
heavy.
Open his pack.
So, with prestidigitation, so you're attempting to lift it slowly up, right? As you cast this spell, you cast it the appropriate way. That object sitting on that pedestal does not move.
And she would stand there for a moment, embarrassed.
I mean, I'll have performance anxiety sometimes.
That's unusual. I've never seen something like this happen before.
And as everyone is focused on the item that is central in the room, could Hood like make a? I'm guessing we're all stepping into the room, but I think he would want to like circle left and to see if there's anything along the lines of the room that would give any indication of a presence or the long-lasting effects of what's been going on here.
Fair enough. Roll me I guess a perception. Was that with the if you're kind of visibly or visually looking around? 26. As you step in further and kind of give it a bit of a wider berth to kind of go around the circular chamber of the room, beyond the fact that there's no dust in here, so whatever this pulsing effect has, it seems to keep the area clear of life or anything else kind of overtaking it. What I'm gonna say to you though, with the 26, as you get a bit close, you almost, not because of anxiety or anything along those lines, you immediately get the sense that you are as close as you are to this object, it seems to be having a different effect on you than it seems to be having on Chester and Dorina. As you kind of move around and get kind of like to get a better eyesight on this, you start to feel your heart kind of rapidly race, like filling your heart, like kind of almost like pounding in your chest, like boom, 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 boom. This pulse seems to have an completely outwardly different effect on you than it's having on Dorina and Chester so far, because Chester and Dorina are standing there just fine.
Would that be like the heart race? Well, not entirely anxiety, but would it like be in sort of like an exciting way?
It's almost like adrenaline.
Inviting.
Yeah. Not inviting, but like you just did something thrilling and you're like having to kind of catch your breath. Because you start to, it gets a little bit harder for you to breathe, right? Like that, you know, that overwhelming kind of effect. It's almost like it's doing too much for you, right? It's kind of like it's forcing your body to kind of push past. You know, you are very aware of everything around you, like an extremely heightened state. As you look around, right, the vision is sharper than it's ever been, right? And your heart is just racing, and you know, from that initial kind of like boom, 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 now it's like full on, like boom, 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 you know, just over and over. I'm gonna say with the 26, you get worried that if you stay too close to this thing, that it might have eventually an altogether negative effect on how you're feeling.
I think with that, they would listen to his feelings and then try and to keep his distance from it, and just throw it on a gut feeling of that. That definitely feels off to me. It's just yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's. I don't think it's intended for me at least.
Fair enough. So yeah, you kind of make your way back out of the room, right? Putting some distance between you and this item that seems to be having like an altogether too enhancing feeling. I'm gonna say that Chester and Dorina, I mean, you notice this on on Hoot's face. You see that he's kind of overwhelmed to be in the presence of this thing. And I'm gonna say it's all too obvious for the two of you to kind of look at each other that you're seemingly unbothered by it. Because you're closer than he is, right? You're right there.
Doesn't know what is going on with Dorina.
Yeah.
He's more confused than anything.
Absolutely same here.
Yeah, you've tried to lift it. Seems like you can't lift it with any magical means.
Well, if you do wish to pick it up after all, I shall not stop you. And she would kind of like gesture forward.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's go pick it up.
Pick it up. All right, you reach right over, grabbing onto it with your bare hand.
Yep. Rose cares far more about Dorina than
Give me a fortitude save as you grip onto the gem itself, Chester.
Instant cardiac arrest.
Oh, it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing, at least for you. As you grip a hold of it, you feel like a vibrant return to your senses in a number of ways, right? You feel not overwhelmed, but like invigorated, right? Physically, the fear drops. Frightened state that you had is gone, right? That is washed away as you grip a hold of this. You stand taller. You feel better. All of the aches, the pains, like whatever you were feeling in recent times seems, at least now, wiped away. You feel good.
Excellent. This is not letting go of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, you grab a hold of it. You take it off the pedestal, right? Turn around. Seemingly for all others that are looking at you to just be like, perfectly fine. You turn back, the feeling of, at least how you've been attitude-wise and everything is all, back to normal. You feel really good. Better than you have in a long while. As you take it off the pedestal, though, I'm gonna say, Mac, Nyx, the two of you have kind of stayed by the door, and I guess Hoot as well. You've kind of returned to the door. So the three of you, actually, I'll run with whatever you. I'll run with the perception check from you, Hoot. But Nyx and Mac, give me a perception check. Okay. Mac and Hoot, as Hoot, as you kind of exit, you exit just as Chester grabs a hold of the teardrop emerald and lifts it off the pedestal. But with that 26 and with Mac's 20, the two of you hear a loud kind of clang, and then a shifting of what sounds like stone on stone, like this slow kind of growl come from further down the hall, and you hear it kind of just like stone on stone sliding, like a heavy stone on stone, kind of just pulling apart.
Does it sound like it's coming towards us?
No. So it sounds like you heard it down down further into the building, but you don't hear. You just hear it for a moment, and then you hear this loud kind of clangs of like boom, boom, as two things seem to drop into position.
There seems to be someone home. Things don't drop without a reason.
Oh, sometimes they do. But I doubt this is one of those times.
I will say, Chester, as soon as now that you're holding it in your hand, for the rest of you, the pulse seems to stop, no longer emanating from it. You still feel the same every time, Chester, as you're holding on to it, looking at this item in your hand. That feeling remains, right? That, that great feeling. But yeah, everybody else would have noticed that the pulsing effect has stopped from it.
Well, is this what we were looking for?
I think so.
Yeah. So, Hoot and Mac, the two of you are the only ones who have heard. I'm not sure if you shared that you heard it. Yeah. Two of you are the only ones that have heard that loud, not loud, but that like low rumbling stone on stone movement.
Since it came out of nowhere and Mac is still like frightened too, I think he would have jumped at the noise.
Oh yeah.
And he probably would have mentioned that he heard something.
Well, maybe we should get out of here.
What was this, the DNA thing? And I think they mentioned that there were possibly several things. Of course, it was first come, first served basis, and we could also try and just go around from what we heard. I imagine a hospital like this that would have quite a few things remaining, perhaps deeper within, where not so many have seen.
Yeah, I would also say the agreement is to clear the place out, not just to go in and take the things inside of it.
Yeah.
Technically, you could, right? You could just be like, "Fuck it, we got this. We're getting out of here." But that would not leave you in good standing with Sanctuary.
No.
So.
I think we at least have to find out what that dropping was, and perhaps for an alternative route, and then we can always at least come back with news of our scouting. We don't have to engage it, of course, if there's anything, but at least have a peek-see.
Well, we'll just keep going then.
All right. Mac and Nyx, the two of you, or sorry, Mac and Hoot, the two of you are the only ones to know the appropriate direction. So you kind of point out the right way, and we'll say Nyx and Dorina kind of. Well, Chester, now that you're feeling better, do you take lead, or are you still kind of keeping near to your brother?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I wouldn't like strut forward, but I'd still stay behind.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. So
whoever is leading, so probably Hoot, but.
Okay, yeah, so say Nyx and Hoot then kind of take lead, specifically to find this wherever this might have been. And so as you head further along inside, you pass a number of rooms on either side. On the interior of each room, nothing seems to grab at your attention, at the least. You know, there's you can see like a like in one. It appears to, you know, a number of, at this point, completely just in absolute tatters, right? But the smell of kind of musty paper hangs in the air of one of these rooms. There are like a number of pages that have just kind of, you know, been not only torn, but kind of frayed and kind of destroyed at the edges. There are no standing tombs in any of these rooms that kind of looks to be in like good enough shape. If you were to kind of head into one of them, you know, just to kind of quickly check, as soon as you open it up, the paper almost itself would kind of just like crumple, right? Kind of just the backing of the book just kind of completely falling in a mess, kind of dusty mess at your feet. The pages themselves, some of them have some interesting kind of things on them, but without the whole, right, without the complete, they're basically useless, right? Interesting to look at, but useless in practicality. And so you kind of pass down a number of these rooms that kind of have a number of books on either side, until you reach the end, and basically at the end of the hall, it just turns to the left and continues. What you see as you make that turn, standing before you, there is a wall to your left, and very apparent that this was the sound of the moving stone, because there now kind of lies a strange entrance leading down from this point. I'm going to say you can tell even at a quick glance, because of the dust is completely different on the opposite side, right? Like, if this was open the whole time, dust would have kind of made its way through. But at the end of the hall, it just kind of wraps around. So it would just wrap around to another section of the hospital. So there's this there's this open hole, with a passageway leading down, the stone of which looks pretty well taken care of the stone steps leading further down. And at first glance, you can see down, there is a little bit of light that comes through. The light is, I wouldn't say it's like bright white light, but it's whitish light. And you can hear sounds, but what they exactly are is very difficult to tell. And then further on into the hospital, you would just head down the hallway.
Well, we are looking for things. I guess not many people have been down there.
Oh, what if
Are we?
this was perhaps the source of the sound? This wall, at least it seems to be looking around with the differences in surface area. Might not have occurred, or perhaps the others wouldn't have passed it, and we would be maybe one of the first, or well, at least in as many years to enter that part.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Leading the way,
let's go.
you start to descend the steps. You hear, as you draw yourself closer, the light isn't extremely bright, but it's well enough. But the steps and the hallway down is wide. Very wide. It's like 30, 40 feet across, from either side. So at one point this was meant for at least, either in grand visual appeal, or a large number of people were to be walking up and down these steps. In the case you find yourself heading down deep underneath the ground. I'm going to say for a good 150, 200 feet, you continue to travel down. The light from the bottom continuing to just kind of glow just a bit brighter, more and more apparent to you. And as you draw yourself closer, you hear whispering, like two figures speaking to themselves, and hushed, quick whispers, right, back and forth, like, and you can hear like movements of like objects being kind of dragged and dropped and kind of let go, and you hear almost like a crushing sound, like spices in a spices kind of being crushed and rolled around, and a smell to the air, even though you are getting underneath the ground, that dampy kind of earthy smell, but not a perfumed, but certainly like an herbal kind of smoky scent kind of hits your nose, for the five of you, like sage of sorts, right? It's kind of being burned, and the smoke and smell is kind of hanging in the air as you get closer. Even the light itself is kind of hazed by the smoke that kind of hangs lower and lower into this, down these steps you go. So if you would like to attempt to maybe take a moment to listen and try to discern what these two figures or two voices are saying to each other, feel free to make a perception check.
Yeah, I would.
Definitely.
Alright, certainly.
Just toot, I guess.
yeah, unfortunate. Hoot. That same whispers, the same like echoing whispers that you heard emanating from the stone just on the outside of the building, and it kind of went away, kind of returns again as these two voices. It's not the echo, it's not the vast amount of of kind of like the layered voices whispering as the stone itself kind of gave you, but it's similar to effect as the two kind of speak back and forth. And what you hear in rapid kind of whispering back and forth, you can't quite tell who's speaking it, but you just hear like, they are coming, be ready. And this, each time something is said, it's echoed back, right? So like it's, they're coming, right? Be ready. Soon, right? Like, back to back.
I think with that, Hoot would slow his movement a bit and try and get the little attention of the group, and hold up his finger like, listen to that. No, there's, and as low, as soft as he possibly could. Like, it sounds like we have visitors, or at least company that's already here.
As you pointed out, who do you hear? They know we're here. Right, kind of back to back. We must welcome them. Right?
Oh shit, I might have turned that into a welcoming party.
Serena would like raise her eyebrows in a friendly anticipation at Hoot.
Chester
Yes.
gets a lot more cheery now. It's like, well, time to introduce ourselves. And he is gonna pull his corset knife out, have it easily accessible. But
Okay.
he's gonna just start walking over unless someone stops him.
Start walking forward. Okay. Absolutely. Start walking forward. Nobody stops. Just you all just kind of quickly look to follow in behind. So as you kind of take the final steps, you're all gonna hear at this point like welcome, right? We've been waiting, right? Kind of echoing each time. Come in, right? You are welcome. Back to back. And so, as you, the five of you enter in, I think this is a good place to do this. So, laid out before you, as you make your way to the bottom of the steps and the opening, this kind of squared opening, you take a few steps forward, maybe another 5-10 feet, and you find yourself in this large, almost like an atrium room. From where you're standing, there's broken rock, kind of ascending up in a, almost like up to a point along the top. Beyond that, the back, where there should be some sort of stone wall or something kind of holding up whatever it is, right, kind of part of the foundation, and where there should be like at least earth or something. You see beyond, and you see nothing but open black space and twinkling starlight from behind. And at the very top, there seems to be this like this outcropping, almost like a table of sorts, that extends like a platform out and into the darkness beyond. So, as you enter in, you see this leaned over figure standing at the top, standing at an altar where there exists kind of numerous smoking bowls laid out in front, The figure looks almost like an oldish, elderly woman, and she is kind of leaned over the top, kind of head down. All you can see is this white hair kind of hanging in loose strings across the front, kind of obscuring the face, and dealing with these smoking bowls. Further down over here, almost strangely enough, at least to the twins, is at first glance the very same figure that is standing at the top. But she, unlike the other, is not standing in a way that obscures herself. She kind of stands leaned over, and her eyes just kind of dart back and forth between the five of you. She doesn't say anything. She just kind of stands there, almost like a wild animal, kind of caught in their spot, staring out at the five of you. But you see the features, because the white hair is kind of pulled away from the face. Just these two large, not inhuman, but large eyes, and the features of an old, elderly woman. A very pale, pallid kind of skin, almost sickly in nature. The cheeks are kind of sunken in, and a sharp look to the eyes.
Would they give off more of the vibes like we encountered of the people at a sanctuary, or like perhaps older or more reminiscent of the people or the dead people we saw in the town? Thinking that the people in Sanctuary would have had time to build themselves up, and make the camo cloaks and that sort of thing, and living there for a while, whilst the villagers might have been, hearing the stories, might have been abducted or taken in when they were ill, and would have had maybe hospital-issued clothing.
No, these figures look very out of place. The clothing that each is wearing, which seems to be identical, is tattered and in ruins. It looks like like some form of leather that was crafted from potentially kind of a wild animal, and just kind of draped over the shoulders. The fabrics that you can see are stained and darkened by whatever material they've currently been in contact with. As you all kind of sit and kind of stare, this one is going to step forward a few paces, standing now at the top. So from where it is, there's a quick step up here. Sorry, a quick step up here, and then a step up here. So it's like a platform on each one. So it's like platform 1, 2, 3, and then 4 at the very top. So,
Nyx is gonna try to approach, mostly just to stay in front of everyone else in case.
Okay.
Potentially interesting people try to do something nefarious. I don't know.
Fair enough. Okay. So take a few steps up close. And when you get to this point, you'll hear the voice at the top again echoed out at the same kind of sounds. That's enough. That's enough. You are right on time, but you must wait. And all of that is kind of echoed again, right? You are right on time, but you must wait. The figure here looks over at you again, these same kind of sharp eyes. Doesn't speak, doesn't move, just kind of stands there, almost like an animal with their back to the wall, right? This like hunched over look to their physique.
Wait for what? What are you doing in this, well, underground?
They will call out. And they will call out and they will say, the veil. It is almost lifted. And you are here to bear witness. And again, from beyond this figure out and into the back of this room, right? This hall or atrium of sorts. The stars, right? The numerous kind of twinkling stars kind of hang in this almost like impossible space beyond. And when this figure says almost lifted and you are to bear witness, you'll notice that a number of these stars start to blink out. Beyond them is becoming darker.
Can Mac move closer to Chester?
Yeah. Fair enough. What's everybody else doing in this moment? Hoot and Torina.
I would like to, directly staring into these stars, are these, like, do these have the properties of real stars in which they are like kind of uncomfortable, or do they seem like artificial stars?
They seem very real. Yeah.
I think then I would just observe a couple more of them disappear.
Okay. You just kind of watch as a few more just kind of blink out of at least existence as it stands here. Fair enough.
I think Hoot might move forward a bit as well and keep his eyes on the stars a bit, but also to the central figure that is working on the herbs.
Yeah, at the very top. Okay.
Just like over there and be like, so what are we to bear witness from? What are you preparing?
What are you preparing? This figure will kind of call out. You must decide. And again, this is all repeated, right? Like an immediate echo. Which one of you stays? Who is it going to be?
One of us has to stay. What are we doing to this veil? I'm still stepping toward her.
Okay, you step forward. All right. Draw just a little bit closer. This one keeps really sharp eye watching you. What you're doing with this veil. The figures just kind of laugh to themselves, and that laughter is kind of echoed on top of each other. Being very cryptic. If you search your heart, you already know. We can decide. If you are unable.
Well, I don't know about you all, but I don't think any of us are staying.
I think I know what they mean. I'll step forward and at least sort of feel as if I know what I'm doing. I am the one that is supposed to stay.
Oh.
Do you know these two? Is this perhaps planned? I'm not sure I understand. And Dorina would yell out.
Kind of call out. As Hoot, proclaims that they are the one to stay, right? It is a gift, and you are to be blessed. Come now. And waves you forward.
I think with I'm trying to be subtle about it, to wave his hands to everyone back to just keep calm and try and also look for an exit, and at least trying to at least offer them a moment of confusion, perhaps with these two figures, so that they could get away as he's moving forward.
Okay. So you take a step forward. Yeah. Draw yourself closer. Perfect. Like and this one here seems to be just completely focused in on Nyx. So as you kind of move past, it's almost like you're unnoticed by the secondary, the twin figure that stands near at the bottom. And you start to approach, and you start to kind of walk past. The exit to this place, there's one, and it's
at the back.
Yeah, Dorina, Mac, and Chester are nearest to it. They could just turn and rush right out. As at least that you can tell as you look around, because the back of this whatever room, whatever it was at one time, this almost like a cathedral of sorts, just opens up, and the stars are just twinkling away, just one after the other. And it is becoming very apparent the room itself is kind of dimming as the lights of the stars kind of starts to drop away. And yeah, the back of this this cathedral is just darker and darker by the moment. The figure at the top finally kind of raises their head up from the smoke and bowls, and you can see their eyes pitch kind of red from the smoke, just striking and lifting up and into their eyes the whole time. And they take their hand and kind of part the white hair across their face and push it back. And they look at you with a number of toothless grin. This old-looking woman, and she reaches out and a hand, kind of extending for you to continue on upwards. And you can tell at the very end that the nails of this woman's hand are clawed sharp. So, I will say, since this is kind of happening a little fast, Dorina, Mac, and Chester, as you see this starting to happen, I mean, you see the back of this room, the stars, this impossible space behind that should be just rock and earth, is open to a night sky that is in many ways very familiar to you. And each of those stars is just dropping one at a time.
I think Dorina wouldn't be concerned with some stars disappearing. She would more like try to take in what is happening all around, and maybe I would try to take 2 steps forward to get an eye on Hoot.
Okay. Yeah, so take a few steps forward to keep an eye on Hoot, Mac, and Cheese.
Mac is definitely going to lean closer to Chester and be like, I really don't like this place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think neither of us are leaving. Like, we feel like it would Like, Chester thinks it'd be worse if he, like, left. For some reason.
You feel really good.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Feel very good.
Yeah,
But-
he's great. So he's just hanging out with his brother, enjoying the physical contact.
Fair enough. And watching this.
Yeah, I'm sure glad someone's having a good time.
yeah, watching this strange situation happen. Okay, so, I'm gonna say, Hoot, do you continue up?
Yes, I think if I can still see the twins, sort of like I make eye contact of, I don't know, however that would be conveyed, of make sure to take care of each other, and like that they might have what they came for. But don't worry.
Okay. Draw yourself closer. I need the 4 at the bottom. So Nyx, Dorina, Chester, and Mac to give me a perception roll here. Damn.
Oh my gosh,
not
poor Dorina.
bad. Yeah.
She's been blind.
Isn't that like the
Yeah.
third one you've rolled today?
I think so.
Nyx, because you're up close and personal with this one that is, that Hoot just kind of walked past, right? The one kind of standing in between you and Hoot now. And, because you're so close to him, you see their flesh moving on their face. And then they open to like a grin as, essentially as Hoot gets to the bottom of this, basically like right there, 10 feet away from the other one that is standing at the top that has been doing the talking the whole time. And you see the arms kind of come down from this this being, the nails kind of extending and pushing out further from the skin into long kind of sharp claws. The mouth kind of opens just a bit too wide for the face, and you can see beyond it a number of kind of razor sharp teeth rode behind. And they kind of stand there menacingly, like they are the thing in between you and Hoot now. Staring you down with like a predator's look.
Hoot, what is going to happen to the one that stays behind? I didn't think that this was where you were destined to go.
Oh, sorry. It's about that time. I think he would look back and at least try to exclaim that the one that stays behind will at least bear witness to what is going to happen, and the others will have perhaps a safer exit than the welcoming we had.
Chester kind of leans into Mac and just kind of like, should we try to stop this?
I believe we should just all leave, like. It's kind of rude to just insist somebody stay, right?
Yeah. It's pretty selfish that you think that you're the one that needs to stay.
Are they in love?
Mac?
No, Nyx and Hoot. Chester's just making a comment.
all is fair in love and war, right? But if you wish to be, and also looking up to the figure, does it have to be one, or can we all bear witness?
The figure will step forward at the very top, right? Closing the distance to you, reaching a hand out, and offering their hand to yours as you make your way up the final steps to the very top of this pedestal, I guess you can call it, of sorts. And they will speak out, and again, as they speak, it's that double sound, right? Echoing back to back. They can bear witness, but only you are blessed. Only you will see.
Mac is actually gonna call out to her. Like, what's he blessed with?
Syphilis.
I knew it!
Yeah, syphilis, jeez. They look at you like a bit confused by your question. Actually, they look at you like they expected more from you.
They're not angry, but disappointed.
But and they'll speak to you directly, Mac, looking all the way down the climbing steps. By the veil, of course. It is almost time. It is almost time. And they take your hand and they grip it onto it tight. Hoot as they turn their back to the rest and look out into the darkness beyond the top of this altar of sorts in this cathedral. The lights just further dimming. Almost nothing but pitch black.
I really feel like we should stop this.
I think Hoot is going with it, and even though he's been hearing voices and thinking it was wrong, I think it has turned in his mind into, yes, this is exactly why I had to be here.
You were called
I
here.
guess, does Hoot seem afflicted in any way to the rest of us? Or does this seem like it is himself?
I'm gonna say that there certainly looks like there's something going on with Hoot right now.
Yeah, I think Chester is just gonna be like, a little far. I think Chester's gonna climb the steps a bit.
Okay.
Just is gonna attack this, but I mean, up to you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
he was your friends first, so
Yeah, Chester's just gonna climb up and then get in front of like Nyx and just.
I will allow a single action, and then we are rolling into initiative.
Sure.
And so it'll only be you, Chester, that gets us off, because it's kind of like making something happen, right?
Yeah, Chester loves getting people off.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you doing?
Yeah, Chester's just gonna cast harm.
Arm. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So go ahead and hover T.
Two actions, so because it's far.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
yeah.
fine. I'm fine with it. Yeah. So hover T.
Yep.
Because in a sense they are also fully expecting you to, you know.
Yep.
And so you are doing versus living or versus?
Yeah, living is.
Okay. So they have to make a fortitude saving throw.
Mhm.
All right. Click. They just make it. But it's basic, so they still take damage. It's half damage. So you can go ahead and roll damage. It'll just be half. 5 points. Okay. So they take. Okay. And then now I need everybody to roll initiative. So there we go. And we should change up the music.
Which one?
The one time we all roll well. It's just for
This
initiative.
is going for
Just
reflexive.
give them to roll well on.
Okay. And the other one, actually I'll have to adjust. Well, actually, let's see. Alright. Okay. So that'll actually be okay. All right. So as we begin our encounter, the figure that is holding onto your hand, Hoot, now kind of rears back and kind of screeches out in pain as Chester approaches, stepping up the steps and reaching out and afflicting them with the harm spell. They kind of feel themselves racked and pulled, and they grip onto your arm extremely tight from the pain. What are you doing? As Chester has jumped in to seemingly try and help you, but feel like you are in the right place.
I'm so torn.
I mean, you can also you don't actually have to act on this. You can hold your action and wait, or you can hold your turn, I should say, and then just tell me when you want to drop back into initiative. But it does move you for the rest of combat, right, to wherever you jump back in, and it's after somebody's turn.
I think with this, maybe this was like a snap back to reality, and also with that screech that he got to his reflective senses, being called into the moment, and then seeing the how do you say that, the misfigured people and the actual claws and the sharpened teeth.
Yeah.
He was more
Well, that's not the one that's holding on to you, I should say. The one that's holding on to you has, like, is just toothless. Like, there are missing teeth, but they look like normal. Although the hand does have a little bit of a claw effect to the fingers, but this is the one that has the, you know, exaggerated features.
And the bottom one.
Yeah. So.
I wasn't entirely expecting it, but it'll go along with his twins. He'll draw his rapier.
Okay. So drawing the weapon.
Okay, good. Draw.
Okay.
And then moving behind the figure, and then trying to, as the, maybe they also turn around because they're holding on to me, and then I'll just, with one eye on the altar and the other one on the figure, trying to stab down, and then just have them all going towards the ledge.
Okay.
To be centrally pinned down, so, like, if anyone were to approach, so they would have an advantageous position.
Fair enough. Okay. Draw, wrap around, and attack.
T.
Wow, very nice. Go ahead and roll critical damage. Absolutely. So,
Is that also with the sneak attack?
I believe it is. It's the 1d8. That's deadly. Oh,
That's the deadly because of the weapon, and then because I'm first to enact an initiative, they should be flat-footed towards me.
right. Okay, then yeah, it didn't automatically count the flat-footedness. So if you can,
What was it? It was 1d6, 2d6.
yeah, let's see.
It's surprise attack, and sneak attack. And if they would be flat-footed, it will do 1 extra d6 of precision damage.
1d6.
Which in this case would be 2d6 because it's a crit. Does sneak attack crit as well?
I believe so, yes. So, 2d6.
Oh, not +1. Yeah, there we go.
Very nice. Okay. So yeah, completely catching them off guard entirely. You wrap around, jumping up kind of ahead of them on the kind of stone walk, climb that you're making, and you run them through with the rapier from behind right there. Pierces out through their chest, and as you pull it back, yeah, they let go of you, right? Their hand on your hand as they were guiding you up immediately goes away, and they just kind of rear back and they let out this inhuman screech that kind of echoes off the walls and out into the void behind you. So that is your 3 actions.
That's my turn.
Perfect. So Dorina with Nyx up next.
To begin, I would shout some very encouraging words out to everybody to cast and inspire courage.
Okay.
Which I would of course love to make lingering.
Make a linger. Okay. So this is
A performance check, right?
Oh yeah, let's see. Oh, the lingering is a performance check, yeah, but the spell effect happens for everybody within 60 feet, which I believe, I just want to double check. It's emanating, so if it's coming from you.
Yep. Everybody.
That's everybody. I'm not even gonna bother with it. So then yeah.
And I've got a 19 in performance.
I think it even reaches 19 in performance. Absolutely, it'll last 3 rounds. So perfect. All right. So lingering is free. So inspiring courage was 1 action. You've got 2 more.
And next up, can I quite see? I can probably barely see the lower one, right?
Yeah. Because there's this rock face kind of stands out.
So she would whisper a couple of words directly staring at her, and I would like to daze her.
Daze her? Okay. Let's see. There is still some damage, so you can roll the damage. They'll take half of that, but they succeed, so they are not yeah, so they're not stunned or anything. Let's see. Nope.
Oh god, I am so sorry.
You healed yourself. Let's see. There you go. It'll be them, and I gotta do. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So days is 2 actions. Okay, so it's all 3 actions. Perfect. All right.
Yep.
Nyx with Chester on board.
Nyx is gonna shout out to the one up there. I think you should release him very, very threateningly and try to demoralize them.
Okay.
Should be an intimidation roll versus. I got the skill up.
Yeah. Go ahead and make the intimidation there. While targeting target.
Yep, you're right.
Unfortunately, it is not enough. Yeah, you kind of cast out, but they're still kind of reeling from the attack that Hoot inflicted upon them, so they're seemingly not completely awares of your attempt to demoralize.
Try to charge up to them. What's that?
Alright.
Take a strike at them.
It is just enough, so I'm gonna roll damage. Very nice. Alright. 11 points. Perfect. So you rush up the rest of the way, rushing past the more animal-like one as you rush by them, heading right up to the main figure, slash down with the gill hook kind of ripping into their flesh and pulling it back. Perfect. So, Chester.
Yes. I think Chester is going to. Everybody's like in the way. I think Chester's just gonna go ahead and cast Harm again.
Okay.
The same one.
Fair enough. Alright. To make the fortitude save. Just, yeah. Succeeds, but still damage. Half. Alright. Perfect. So it's harm at the second, and then
Yes, it's 2. Yeah,
alright.
so, and then... Let's see, I wanna stay. He's gonna move out of the way. Done.
Okay, so you're gonna move back. Perfect. Okay, so it's now this figure's turn. So they're going to first, recognizing the situation they are in, they're going to cast invisibility and immediately become invisible right in front of your eyes. So because
Have
they're
them
invisible,
manipulate.
it does, so you will be able to take an attack of opportunity as they start to conjure up this spell in front of you.
I don't know if it's gonna mess with anything, but them being invisible currently. But
Oh yeah, let me see. Yeah,
it
let's
should be flat-footed against me as well. For the
see.
flanking.
There you go. Go ahead and target. Roll your attack. Very nice.
Wow.
Well
Yeah.
done.
All right.
24 points. Very nice. So, as the creature looks to change its form, right? Remove itself from, so that, you know, to hide immediately. You swing heavily, right? And rip into the side of this creature, immediately eviscerating from the gut all the way across, and a number of internal organs just kind of flop out and onto the ground in front of you.
Darn it.
So, they will drop dead completely in front of you. They are done with. So,
Make me describe it.
Mac,
He did it.
I am gonna have to like expend 2 of my movements.
okay.
So I could get, hold on.
Tipple around.
So I could get up to this guy. And then I'm gonna strike at them.
All right. The strats an 18.
I am sorry, I forgot to target.
Yeah, that will unfortunately miss though. So you rush upwards, looking to swing into this creature, and they seem highly alert, and they are just going to drop back and out of the way. So, that's your turn. So it is now this creature's turn. As their free action, they are going to... Let's see. They're going to revert form. And right in front of your eyes, Mac, you're going to see this creature go from looking like an elderly looking woman, right into this strange amalgamation of flesh with long taloned fingers, as sharp as a blade. And the creature will just kind of immediately drop its form, stand before you. I have to actually re-add it to the thing. Let's see. The initiative is 15. Okay, so we are on them. Sorry. So the first action, the revert form, is a free action. So they still have 3 turns here. First, they're going to since you've approached, they're going to target you and make a claw attack in your direction, looking to rake their massive claws along. That is a critical hit.
I don't like that.
You will take, as they reach out, the extended claw in your direction.
Oh, I am close to death.
You will take 31 points as they just rip their fingers out and in front of you, ripping across your body. They will take a second action to grab you. Because the melee claw has the is a success with a grab. You are grabbed by whichever body part the creature has attacked with, right? So you're grabbed by the claw. And so it'll just automatically do that as its second action. And then its third action will be to open its large mouth, and as it does so, it will use the action. What the fuck is it? Blood nourishment. It's since you are grabbed, restrained essentially, the creature will just open its mouth, and this three-pronged tongue will shoot out and into your flesh, and you will gain the drained one action, or condition, I should say. And that is the full turn that they make. So,
Guys, I'm being French kissed by this thing. Save me.
Hoot?
Yeah, you finally get to fuck the monster.
Oh yeah, just what Mac always
Getting freaky with
wanted.
it. Okay. Because we have to deal with steps. Select. Oud would see what's going on below and try and rush downstairs.
Fair enough.
And then seeing the grabbing and apparent French kissing going on, he tried to tumble through the creature to make an attempt at gaining an advantage position with the second movement.
Okay, so you attempt to tumble through. Go ahead and target and use the tumble through action, because there are some.
Tumble through. You can try and attempt acrobatics.
Yeah, so just do the tumble through and then just click the acrobatics in the box what it that produces in chat. That is a failure by 6. So you movement in, so you don't make it to where you are. You make it to the point where you started the tumble through, which would be back here. And you trigger reactions as if you had moved out of the square that you started in. Lucky for you, this creature does not have a attack of opportunity.
Very lucky. Then with the last action, I guess for that failing, he'd just try and take advantage of the position and aiming slightly upwards to try and poke the rapier through the head.
Fair enough.
Maybe cutting some muscle to release the grip.
It is not enough.
Yeah, that's the charm.
Although, no, I guess so.
Try to. It could, yeah, it added everything on. It has the Inspire Courage as well.
Well, I'm trying to see if it had the. Shouldn't it be flat-footed, or maybe because it's gripping
I think because
Mac?
Oh yeah, that could be.
Maybe it's because Mag is grabbed. That's not counting it. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Yeah. Not sure. Does that
okay,
work?
it's actually.
Yeah, I'm down.
interesting. Because drained one
We're
removes
conscious.
your.
HP.
No, because drained one.
Yeah, I was down to
Uh,
1 HP, and it took away like 2
Yeah.
of my max HP, so I'm currently down.
Yeah, you lose a number of hit
Oh,
points equal
yeah.
to your level.
Equal to your level. Oh shit. So,
So
so Mac is dying.
yes.
Okay.
So the initiative.
Sorry,
works as
I
well.
just noticed that and messaged
Yeah,
me about
yeah.
it. I was like, wait a second, I'm dead.
Yeah, let me. So you move in the initiative to. Oh, well, it works out because it moves your initiative to just before the creature that attacked you. So okay, so that's probably what. I mean, there's
So
probably the grab.
I stayed in the same spot.
Yeah. So Mac is unconscious, being held up by this creature as the pronged tongue penetrates through the kind of shoulder area. And as you go to attack, it's almost like this creature has eyes in the back of its head, Hoot, as it just avoids your strike from behind.
I love the status conditions.
Yeah, just you got everything all at once. Holy fuck!
He's not having a good day.
That's
I had to add, you know.
We really should have taken that long rest, so I at least wouldn't be frightened too.
that's an achievement, you know, in most video games. So, all right. So you moved, tried to tumble, and then tried to attack. That is your actions.
That would be it.
All right, Dorina. Also, your inspired courage should keep going. I don't know why that dropped.
All of
Sure.
us edited it except for Rose, probably.
Aha. Let's see.
I don't
Just for
even
me
know
as
how
well.
to edit myself, honestly.
Yeah, you just drag and
I
drop.
threw it in the. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, okay, thank you. So, I would just love to move right next to Chester, and I would yell out to Max something like, "It's gonna be okay. Just you relax," and hit him with soothe.
Okay. So that heals Mac by 8.
Yes, and he gets a +2 to saves against mental effects.
Oh yeah, can you post the description of Soothe? Alright.
Of course.
So you're gonna heal up. You get the spell effect. There we go. And
Yeah, add more.
yeah, and
Yeah, just what I need.
you get healed. So no longer dying 1. Oh no, actually it would have been dying 2, right? Because it was a crit that. Well, no, it was technically the drain. So
Yeah,
not
it was
dying.
the drained, so.
So you are wounded. Wounded 1 as you return to the land of the living, Mac. And you have the soothe effect on you. But you are still grappled by this creature. So,
So for a second, I'm just like, oh, this feels so good, and I'm like, oh.
yeah.
In the dream, you were being kissed by a puppy.
Yeah.
And then I open my eyes and I see whatever this thing is again.
Yeah. Still holding on to you, the prong tongue. Still there. So, alright. So soothe and so movement and soothe. Perfect.
Yes.
Alright. Next.
Alright. So Nyx is gonna. Just gonna stride right past it. Get
Okay.
a bit of a distance on it, and then take a. Well. I'll repeat a similar thing that I said before. Release her. And try to be a little bit demoralizing with it.
Alright.
One of those or else statements. Targeted.
Intimidation check against your will DC. Alright. Is there any? There's no negatives to critical failing on an demoralize. So
Can't do it again for a while.
yeah,
And
yeah. This creature
I
is
will take a. Right.
okay. Can you? Do you have a weapon that is reach?
Yep.
All right. Striking out, you do hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Big damage, absolutely. Yeah. So, attempting to demoralize, it doesn't seem to go your way, but either way, you kind of whir back with the gill hook and reach out and leave a long open wound against the creature's skin. immediately kind of red blood starts to kind of pour out from where it is hit. It doesn't seem to have like a reaction to the effect though. It doesn't like recoil in pain or anything. It just kind of turns its lifeless, kind of dull eyes and looks at you. All right. So, that's your actions. Chester.
Yeah, so some questions here. Am I able to use battle medicine on, like, this is fiction I'm talking here, on Mac, given that he's
Grappled.
being, yeah.
Mm.
I have other things that I can do, so it's not a big deal. I want it to be fair.
Yeah, I mean.
I just like, I don't know. I'll just walk up and just start.
Yeah, by like rules as written, I
Yeah,
guess
like
you are
raw,
able
I
to.
could, but
Yeah.
I think that's stupid. Just
Yeah, I think you definitely could if you wanted to. I think
maybe increase the DC.
maybe sure. Like if you wanted to take battle medicine, I would give you the opportunity to, because maybe you're like, you know, yeah. So you can. I would say you can do that if you wish.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll move, and then treat wounds. And what do you want the DC modifier to be?
I'd say I think like typically it's 15, so
Yeah.
you can make this like
I can add it right when I'm casting it.
okay, let's make it like 18 then, I guess. Like a bit harder, but not like a whole tier harder. Yeah, so you go, and we'll say you have like something you're trying to patch up your brother with quickly, right? You know, like just kind of like stuff it into one of the wounds that this creature is kind of ripped across Mac's kind of chest. But as you try, the creature's just holding tight onto Mac, and you're unable to get the you know, the gauze right into the appropriate spot.
And then, I know Nyx's demoralize attempt failed, but I'm pretty pissed at it, and I'm going to do the same thing.
Okay.
Using intimidating glare, so it's not a auditory, it's a visual.
Fair enough.
Anger look.
A very vicious pout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just seems to have no effect on this creature.
Oh, I'm targeting the wrong one, but same thing. Still failure, I presume.
Yeah, I believe it's. Let me see.
Yep.
Yeah, it would still be a failure. All right. Perfect. So, well, let me remove them from the initiative because they're dead. Remove participants. So we are at Mac. You have this creature in your arms. You can still do something to it. You don't have to. But if you would like to get them off of you, you'd have to make an escape check, which is technically an attack action. So if you were to attack afterwards, it would be at the secondary modifier.
But wouldn't he still have Inspire Courage?
Yeah, you would. Yeah, I believe does he still have it on him? No, it dropped
No.
for some reason. Okay, let me.
Get away from
Yeah,
me.
it dropped off for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened when I died.
I think I can grab her. Inspire Courage. Inspire Courage.
Thank you.
Everybody else seems to have. Okay.
It's 2 more rounds.
Yeah. So, what are you doing, Mac?
I am going to try to escape.
Okay. All right. So, wait, what? Okay, so go ahead and... Oh, so you have a choice here. You can basically like strike out with your weapon trying to pull away, or you can make an acrobatics or an athletics check to remove yourself from them. So whichever you would prefer. Yeah, your unarmed attack modifier would be, I think, like a +6, and whatever your athletics or acrobatics will be. It'll be whatever.
Yeah, the highest is a +6 for my acrobatics. So I think,
Okay.
you know what, just for the sake of it, I'm gonna try and deck this guy.
Okay.
Ask consent first.
Never. Dang
With
it.
an 18. Yeah, you swing hard into the creature and you do hit. I'm gonna say, yeah, you do hit against the flesh of the creature, but it seems like it just kind of takes the bludgeoning force. And you are still firmly within the creature's grasp.
Alright, considering that was such a big failure, I'm gonna try and attack him and see if that works to hit him.
Okay. This will be at a minus. So this will be at the second.
-5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that was the first roll. It would have done it, but the second one, yeah, this creature has you just, you know, full on gripped, and as you try to strike out with the rapier, it just goes by, and actually kind of goes past the creature that is holding on to, and almost hits Hoot from behind, right, like, kind of piercing past. It's your second action.
I can't really do anything besides attack or try to escape, right?
Yeah. If you try to escape now, it'll be at a 3. So.
Can it still be like that? Because there's also the prone flat-footed. Would you be able to get up if you're being held?
Oh, sorry. You shouldn't be. That's from the dying.
Move trait.
Yeah. You shouldn't
that
be.
Was causing the -2s.
Yeah. Let me see.
Would I
Is, oh yeah. Yeah. So
Flat-footed.
prone is from is causing, so that'd be. It wouldn't adjust. It wouldn't make you hit either of these, unfortunately. But
That's sad.
yeah, but you're not prone at the very least. You are grabbed. and
Trying to
held.
hustle it.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try and escape again.
All right. Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna try and do acrobatics this time.
Okay. Unfortunate. So
Dang
you
it,
do
this is
your
not a
best.
good fight for me.
Yeah, you do your best to get out of this creature's hold, but it just has you too tight. All right. It's that creature's turn now. At the very least.
You definitely would have failed because it would still be -10 as well
Yeah. But
because of the MVP.
they're going to let go of you.
Doing my best, guys.
So they're gonna let go of you. As a free action, just kind of let go and let you drop to your feet, barely able to continue standing. They're gonna look around. They're gonna look back and recognize that this one up here has been slain. I think. What do they do? Oh, how does drained work? Sorry. Would you have taken damage this round as well? Or would you have taken damage on your turn? When it's applied, okay. Fair enough. Oh, and each night you get a full night, so your drain value decreases. Okay, perfect. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna make a roll for them here. Because they were in part. sorry, I hit the wrong thing there. I had you highlighted instead. They're going to take a step. Moving here. So if you have an attack of opportunity, now's the time.
I don't think steps
They do not.
provoke reactions.
Oh, they do not? Okay. Alright. They're going to, looking back at the figure, they're going to turn, and seeing that it's 5 of you against them, seems like they have more intelligence than you thought. They're going to jump and throw themselves down here. They have to make like an athletics check, I think, which we'll make really quick.
Oh, bro, you have so much to live for.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. They land roughly at the bottom. You hear a snapping as they take. Let me see.
We frightened it so much it tried to kill itself.
Let's take 5 points of damage.
It finally took some damage.
As it lands. So 1 action to move, 1 action to jump. It is going to use its final action to rush away, moving at full speed past outside of this room and disappearing basically at the steps and heading up. So so I guess with this creature rushing away, would you, I want to ask, I guess, would you be looking to chase after it or focus on what's happening with Mac barely standing and the stars have continued disappearing?
Yeah, I think Chester would stay with Mac, because Mac is injured, and
Okay.
that's more important. But out of character, I'd highly suggest someone else go finish it up.
I
But-
think we
Cheers,
could
man.
at least go towards the ledge, and if possible, get a shot off with his hand crossbow.
I'm gonna say it'll be, unfortunately, be gone by the time, like, by the way it works, like next turn, right? It'll be disappeared up the steps beyond sight.
Around the corner.
Yeah. I'm asking because it's looking to make an escape. And I guess what is everybody's speed?
30.
30. Okay. Nix, if you were to rush after it,
30.
what's your speed?
I move 25, but I can also
Let's try
do
to
3 movements and then attack.
Fair enough. Yeah, 'cause I don't have a battle map for the stairs, obviously. So I will say it did not look anywhere near damaged.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we'll just find it later.
yeah, but if you want to chase it down and try to attack it, you are free to do so. So is that what Nyx is doing, like turning and rushing away after this creature?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, all right. Then I'm going to the way we'll handle it is I'm going to for now end the encounter. Right, drop out of combat. And as you chase it down, you rush forward, chasing it down. Nyx, Mac, Chester, and Dorina, the 4 of you stay behind? Or do you rush after it as well? Mac is heavily injured, obviously. I guess what is the focus here? Is the focus on what's happening with the stars and all that? Or chasing down the faceless creature?
Well, Mac, but then the stars.
Fair enough. Alright.
I would actually love to walk up to Chester, and I would like kind of gently poke one index finger right where this thing was like biting him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean Mac, but yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
Mac.
yeah. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
That's fine. They're the same
You're
person.
jabbing your finger into my hole?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh god, I'm so sorry.
Jesus Christ, man. Okay.
So, because the thing I'm trying to do, I would like to first of all get a taste, of course, and I would like to use my vampiric lore knowledge to find out why that thing was able to drink blood.
Fair enough.
Which, of course, I'm also going to in a very shocked manner, going to ask, did that thing just drink from you?
Mac looks very disheveled at the moment, and he's just, what is it? What does it look like?
So yeah, you taste you taste Mac's blood. Feel free to describe if it tastes good or not. That's completely up to you. But trying to figure out what this creature was exactly. With a 20 in vampiric lore, it's I think in that case there are creatures that can be what's the word? They can be melded, right? Created. Creatures such as this, you probably have never had direct contact with them before at all. You know that it's not vampiric itself, right? It seems like it drinks the blood in a almost like with a different intention, not to drink and to, revitalize itself by any means, but to remove from the other, right? To take away from the target. So even though you've never seen a creature like this before or interacted with one or kind of seen it, seen it like or maybe you've read about it a number of times, and it's known as the it is colloquially, I guess, known as the faceless stalker. So it is just a creature of corrupt necromantic energy. So
I would give Mac a worried and repulsed look.
Mac's just gonna look like emotionally distraught. Just be like, what's that look for?
Whatever this was, it's most worrying. I would not recommend letting that drink from you again.
Dorina's advice. Don't
Well,
get attacked.
I don't think I wanted it to drink from me in the first place.
So,
Dorina really thinks Mac's a monster fucker for real.
Nyx, you rushed away, leaving the other four to stay behind. Dorina, as you are checking in on Mac, right, and kind of relaying this information, I'm gonna say it is actually Chester and Hoot. Give me perception checks. This is really just like competing to see who notices between you two.
Mac's gonna make an offhand joke about how he probably really needs Love's true kiss this time.
Yeah, fair enough. Chester, you're the one to notice. Hoot, your back is turned towards the rear of this cathedral or whatever it is. So you're not noticing. Chester, you are the one to see the final star blink out, and there is nothing but black void at the back of this, at the very top and at the very back. And you are going to see almost like a wave before, despite the back of this being nothing but like open black void, there's something even darker in the center, and it is slowly opening up like a large circle that is directly here, right at the edge of this platform that juts out and into the darkness beyond. So even though it's all black, there is something that is just darker than, darker than anything else.
Vanta black.
Yeah, exactly. You got Vanta black right in the center. Like a...
I'll just be staring that way, and you just, the rest of them, you just hear like an,
says, yeah, this gets everybody's attention. All four of you rest in here, look back in the direction that Chester seems kind of like, slack-jawed, right? In the direction of. And you see the same thing. There's a darkness to the rear, but there is a nothingness opening at the edge of that platform. So, does anybody do anything?
So should we leave or go investigate, or feel like this is kind of a big deal, actually?
I mean, I like the dark, but this is a bit much.
Yeah, and I'll say those with dark vision or whatever, you just do not see anything. You don't even see where it's regular void, but where it's Vanta black, right? Even less.
Wait, so if we don't have dark vision, we can't see it at all?
No, you can see. Yeah, there's some there's some light down here that's kind of emanating, but the rear of this room, there's just nothingness. So, there's nothing to see, even if there was something, right? But there is like I said,
Nothing to see if there was something to see.
yeah, exactly. There's a void which is apparent to the naked eye, and then there's something darker than that, which seems like opening up like a hole right at the base of the platform.
I think with that happening, I'm not sure if this would work, but could Hood still move up to Mac and perform battle medicine as well?
Yeah, you can give it a shot. Remember, if you fail...
No, I know it's immune for one day because we failed.
Yeah, but is it
It would just
immune
be
for
normal.
the...
No, it's just immune, not just for me.
Yeah, okay. Treatment.
Not that I want to tell you to. So we'd have to do the 10-minute normal treatments.
Oh, right, because
you,
because you attempted it. Yeah, you would still have to wait some time.
Yeah, so you can do a normal long.
Temporarily immune to your battle medicine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I can't use the battle medicine. That would only take an action.
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah, no, it's just me. Never mind. Yeah, okay, we're.
Yeah, because I
fine.
thought it was.
Oh yeah, temporary
the
to your
only
battle
the-
medicine. Yeah. Perfect.
So I'd give it a try to treat.
Please don't fail. I don't want it
I
to
hope so
die.
too. Does the inspire still do something for that? It's not an attack damage or save, so I guess not.
Yeah, it'll be automatic if it is there. That does work. So that does work. You don't lose the wound, but you do gain 11 hit points. Mac. So there you go.
Taking out some of that alcohol and the needle and thread.
Yeah. So you're doing so you did battle medicine. So you quickly just kind of patch up the wound.
Yeah, just
All right.
alcohol rubbing, I guess, and a little bit of bandage.
Okay. So the four of you, just as you're finishing up with Mac, the four of you in this room feel an immense pressure, like gravity in this room just switched on, and it is crushing. It is ripping you, almost pulling you to the ground, like something like 100 pounds has just been dropped onto your shoulders. This overwhelming kind of sense of foreboding, gravity feeling pressure. You can still move. There's something happening in this room, though.
We should probably get out of here.
I totally agree.
Okay.
But weren't we meant to be the ones, or at least observe what happened?
I must admit
exactly.
there are still too many things I plan on doing in my life than to observe such a dubious and unfriendly room as this.
So,
Mac's gonna actually look to Chester to see if Chester wants to stay.
Yeah, no, we're getting out of here.
Hoot, make me a will save.
Okay. Because I am the one. Is it a fear effect or?
It is not a fear
something?
effect.
Okay, so regular.
Okay. A part of you feels an intense desire to approach, but you have enough of your faculties under order that you can stop yourself from doing so. But the choice is yours, truly.
I think he'd go in with the peer pressure, but leave less quickly. Maybe linger at the stairs so he can peek at what is happening.
Okay. So we'll say the other three, you all just start to rush out, right? Following along Nyx and the creature itself as it, disappeared out of the way. You're choosing to linger, right?
Yes.
You will have to make another will saving throw as you linger and stare, waiting to see if something. This one is a failure. So I'm gonna say, Mac, Chester, and Dorina, if you roll me a perception check, you may be able to see that Poot is not following along. Dorina notices. You look back, Dorina, as Mac and Cheese just continue up and out, getting out of here as, quickly as they can. You are the only one to kind of idle for a moment as you look back, and about 20 feet, 30 feet away, still standing at the bottom of the steps is Hoot. And it looks like he has his back turned to you, and he is slowly starting to take a couple of steps back into the room that you have all rushed out of.
I would immediately yell out to the others. Well, this one appears to want to remain. Could you perhaps help me escort him out?
Yeah, Chester would run up and we can just grab Hoot and like.
Okay.
Yeah, can we both grab like one of his arms?
Yeah. Make a. Because he is not under his own. I at least need you to make like an acrobatics or like an athletics check or something. Either one. And we'll use the combined. So, 18. That's just enough.
just there to help.
18 and the
Cheer
8 is just enough to beat out Boot as you are kind of grabbed from underneath both arms. Part of you just wants to go back in, just return. There's no, why leave now? But Chester and Mac and Cheese, the twins, underhook both your arms and start to pull you away, dragging you up the stairs. And the further you get, the less you want to return. But even still, there is this drive, this underlying, even though you now kind of have control of your faculties yet again, there's still this underlying desire to return, but it's not enough to force you to do so. So.
Yeah, and then with that, because everyone was so adamant on leaving, he'd trust their judgment at this point more than his own, because he's been hearing voices, and in his mind, he doesn't entirely trust his mind.
Fair enough. Okay. And so, rushing out, the 5 of you, who struggling until it becomes apparent that you do not have to, and then you are rushing away with your friends, the two twins, Dorina. Up ahead, you can hear Nyx rushing after the faceless creature. And I think that is a great place to pause our session and finish up next time with the finale. So, thank you all for playing. Hope you enjoyed. It was a pretty wild one. I'm going to go ahead and sign out the stream and everything, but I'll be back in just one moment. So, thank you. All right. Thank you all for hanging out. That is the session 7 of our Wednesday campaign, Into the Red. Next week, we will be on to our finale. So, if you liked it, if you liked the session, I appreciate it. If you'd like to get involved both in the community and, you know, the opportunity to play in a game, in a future game, the best place to be is in the Discord, as that is where I reach out first whenever I'm reaching out to potential new players. In any case, thank you all for watching. Hope you had a good day or a good evening, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, we'll be back this Friday to do our weekly world building stream. So if you'd like to get involved, love to see you then. If not, our next yeah. So hope you have a good day. Thank you all. Peace.